Your eyes carry 20,000 years of survival. That is not poetry or metaphor. That is pure science written into your DNA. Every single person walking this earth today exists because their ancestors fought against nature and won. But some ancestors faced a challenge so brutal that it literally reshaped the human face. Around 20,000 years ago, the planet entered a devastating ice age. Temperatures dropped to extremes that most modern humans cannot even imagine. Siberia became one of the coldest places on Earth. Wind chills reached levels that could freeze exposed skin in minutes. Snow covered everything as far as the eye could see. The sun reflected off that white surface with blinding intensity. Ultraviolet radiation bounced off the ice and snow constantly. It attacked the eyes from every possible angle without mercy. Survival was not guaranteed for anyone living there. Food was incredibly scarce during the longest winters. Shelter was primitive and offered minimal protection from the cold. Every single day was a fight to stay alive. The human body had to adapt or face total extinction, and adapt it did in remarkable ways over many generations. One of the most fascinating adaptations involved the eyes. The ancestors who lived in these frozen Siberian lands developed a thicker layer of fat in their eyelids. This extra fat served as natural insulation for the eyeball. It prevented the delicate surface of the eye from freezing. Think about that for a moment and let it sink in. The human body literally built its own protective gear. No technology was needed and no tools were required. Biology handled the engineering all on its own over time. This thicker eyelid fat also had another crucial function. It narrowed the eye opening just slightly but significantly. This narrowing reduced the amount of UV light entering the eye. Snow blindness was a real and constant threat back then. Without this adaptation, many people would have gone blind. Going blind in the Ice Age meant almost certain death. You could not hunt if you could not see your prey. You could not navigate if you could not see the terrain ahead. You could not recognize danger approaching from any direction. So this small change in eyelid structure was enormous. It was the difference between life and death for thousands. It was the difference between a bloodline continuing or ending. The people who survived passed these genes to their children. Those children passed them to their children after that. Generation after generation, this trait became more common. It spread through populations across Northeast Asia over millennia. It became a defining feature of millions of people worldwide. Today we call this feature the monolid or single eyelid. It exists because your ancestors were survivors of the extreme. They were the toughest humans on the planet at that time. They looked at a frozen wasteland and refused to give up. Their bodies evolved what was essentially natural sunglasses. That is one of the most incredible facts about human biology. Your eyelids are literally ancient survival technology made flesh. They are a gift from ancestors who endured unimaginable hardship. Every time you look in the mirror, you see their strength. Every time you blink, you use their evolutionary innovation. The science behind this is well documented and widely studied. Researchers in evolutionary biology have traced this adaptation carefully. Dr. Nathan Cross at the University of Michigan studied this topic. His research showed the direct link between cold climate and eyelid fat. The data was compelling and the evidence was overwhelming. Other researchers confirmed these findings independently across decades. Professor Lena Harmon published similar conclusions in her work. She focused specifically on UV radiation and eye protection. Her studies showed that narrower eye openings filter more UV light. This filtering effect protects the retina from long-term damage. It also reduces the risk of cataracts and other eye conditions. The evolutionary advantage was clear and measurable in populations. People with this trait survived at higher rates in cold climates. Their children were healthier and had better vision on average. Natural selection favored this adaptation strongly and consistently. Over thousands of years it became dominant in certain populations. This is how evolution works at its most fundamental level. Small changes that improve survival get passed to the next generation. Those changes accumulate over time and become permanent features. The monolid is a perfect textbook example of this process. It is not a flaw or a deficiency in any possible way. It is an upgrade that nature engineered for specific conditions. It is proof that your ancestors were elite survivors of Earth. Now let us talk about the beauty aspect of this feature. In modern times, many people admire large round double-eyelid eyes. Western beauty standards have influenced cultures around the world. This has led some people to feel insecure about their monolids. Some have even pursued surgery to create an artificial crease. But this perspective misses something incredibly important about beauty. The monolid has its own unique and powerful aesthetic advantages. It creates a clean, smooth canvas across the entire eyelid surface. Makeup artists around the world actually love working with monolids. The reason is simple and purely aesthetic in nature. Graphic eyeliner looks absolutely stunning on a monolid eye. The line can be bold and dramatic without being hidden in a crease. Cat eye makeup was practically designed for this eye shape. The wing extends beautifully from the outer corner of the eye. It creates a striking and memorable look every single time. On a double eyelid, the crease can break the liner pattern. On a monolid, the liner flows in one uninterrupted, elegant line. This is why so many makeup trends originate from East Asia. Korean beauty trends have taken the entire world by storm recently. The clean, minimal eye looks that are popular now suit monolids perfectly. Smoky eyes take on a completely different character on monolids. The shadow spreads evenly and creates a seamless gradient of color. There is no crease to interrupt the smooth transition of shades. Professional makeup artist Rachel Kim has spoken about this extensively. She calls monolids the perfect canvas for artistic eye makeup. Her viral tutorials have shown millions how beautiful monolids are. She demonstrates techniques that specifically highlight monolid advantages. Her work has helped change perceptions about eye shape and beauty. The fashion industry has also begun to embrace monolid beauty fully. Top models with monolids are booking major campaigns worldwide now. They bring a unique and captivating look to editorial photography. Their eyes photograph with an intensity that is hard to replicate. The camera loves the clean lines of a monolid eye shape. Photographers often say monolids create a sense of mystery and depth. There is an elegance to the simplicity of the monolid structure. It draws attention to the overall expression of the face beautifully. The eyes communicate emotion without the distraction of a crease. This gives monolid faces a naturally composed and refined appearance. Many describe the look as intellectual and sophisticated automatically. Others see it as cool and confident without trying hard at all. The aesthetic versatility of monolids is genuinely underappreciated still. You can go dramatic or minimal and both look equally amazing. You can play with color placement in ways others simply cannot do. The entire lid space is yours to use as a creative playground. Beyond makeup, monolids also have advantages in natural, unadorned beauty. The smooth eyelid surface catches light in a very flattering way. It creates a youthful and fresh appearance that ages gracefully over time. Many dermatologists note that monolids tend to show fewer wrinkles. The extra fat padding keeps the skin smoother for much longer periods. This means monolid eyes often look younger than their actual age. That ancient survival mechanism is still providing benefits right now today. Your ancestors gave you natural anti-aging protection without even knowing it. The same fat that prevented freezing now prevents premature aging of skin. Evolution really did think of everything when it designed this feature. Traditional clothing from East Asian cultures also complements monolids beautifully. The kimono and hanbok were designed with this aesthetic in mind historically. The clean, elegant lines of traditional dress mirror the clean eyelid lines. There is a harmony between the clothing and the facial features present. This was not accidental but rather a reflection of cultural beauty standards. These cultures recognized and celebrated monolid beauty for many centuries. Long before Western influence arrived, monolids were the ideal of beauty. Paintings from ancient China, Japan, and Korea confirm this historical fact clearly. The most beautiful people in classical art all had elegant monolid eyes. Poets wrote about the captivating gaze of narrow, graceful eyes often. Literature from these cultures is filled with such admiring descriptions. The Western preference for large round eyes is relatively recent historically. It became dominant only through colonialism and media influence over time. But the tide is turning back toward appreciation of diverse beauty now. People around the world are recognizing that beauty has many valid forms. Monolid beauty is experiencing a renaissance in global popular culture today. This shift is long overdue and incredibly welcome for many communities. Now let us return to the science for a deeper understanding of this. The technical term for the monolid feature is epicanthic fold presence. The epicanthic fold is a skin fold of the upper eyelid covering the corner. It works together with the fat deposits to create the monolid appearance. This combination is what gives the eye its distinctive streamlined shape fully. Geneticists have identified several genes involved in this trait development. The EDR gene plays a particularly important role in this adaptation process. Variations in this gene affect hair thickness, sweat glands, and eyelid shape. It is a single gene that influences multiple physical characteristics simultaneously. This is called pleiotropy in genetic science, and it is quite common actually. The EDR variant that is common in East Asian populations appeared roughly then. It coincided almost exactly with the Ice Age period we discussed earlier here. This is strong evidence that the adaptation was driven by climate pressure directly. The gene did not just change eyelids though, and that is fascinating too. It also made hair strands thicker, which provided better insulation for the head. It increased the density of sweat glands, which helped regulate temperature better. Every change served a survival purpose in that harsh frozen environment then. The human body was engineering itself for maximum cold weather performance continuously. This is natural selection operating at its most impressive and efficient level possible. Every generation, the people best suited to the cold survived and reproduced more. Their genes became more common in the population over many thousands of years. Eventually, these traits became the norm for people in those specific regions entirely. When some of these populations later migrated to warmer climates, the traits remained. Genetics do not reverse just because the environment changes quickly after all. These features are now permanent parts of the human genetic diversity we see today. They are carried proudly by billions of people across the entire Asian continent. They are also found in some indigenous populations of the Americas, interestingly enough. This makes perfect sense when you consider the migration patterns of ancient humans. People crossed the Bering Land Bridge from Siberia to North America long ago. They carried these same cold-adapted genes with them on that incredible journey. So when you see similar eye features in some Native American populations, you know why. It all traces back to those same resilient Siberian ancestors from the Ice Age. The connections between human populations are written in our shared genetic code clearly. We are all related more closely than most people realize or want to admit today. The monolith is just one visible reminder of our shared human heritage and history. It connects people across continents and across thousands of years of time together. There is something deeply beautiful about that connection when you really think about it. Your face tells the story of human migration and survival across the entire planet. Every feature you have exists for a reason that science can explain and document. Nothing about your appearance is random or accidental or without deep purpose behind it. Your body is a museum of evolutionary history that you carry with you everywhere daily. The monolith chapter of that museum is one of the most remarkable exhibits present. It speaks of courage and endurance, and the will to survive against all possible odds. It speaks of ancestors who looked at a frozen world and said, "We will not give up." They adapted and they overcame, and they passed their strength forward to you directly. That strength lives in your face every single day, whether you realize it or not now. Evolutionary biologist Dr. Marcus Webb has written beautifully about this exact topic. He describes human physical diversity as a love letter from our ancestors to us today. Each feature tells us something about what they endured and how they overcame difficulties. The monolith tells us they faced the coldest place on Earth, and they won that battle. They did not just survive either, but they thrived and built cultures and communities there. They created art and music and language in conditions that would break most modern people. Their resilience is almost beyond comprehension when you consider the full context honestly. And all of that resilience is encoded in the DNA you carry right now inside you constantly. You are literally made of the stuff that conquered ice ages and survived extinction threats. That is not an exaggeration, and it is not motivational fluff or empty encouragement at all. It is scientific fact backed by decades of research and evidence from multiple fields together. Genetics, paleontology, anthropology, and evolutionary biology all confirm this same narrative consistently. The story of the monolith is the story of human triumph over impossible environmental conditions. It deserves to be told and celebrated and understood by everyone around the entire world now. So the next time someone suggests that monoliths are somehow less beautiful, remember this story. Remember that those eyes were forged in the harshest conditions Earth has ever thrown at humans. Remember that they represent thousands of years of successful adaptation and survival against nature. Remember that they are literally the most battle-tested eye design in all of human evolutionary history. There is nothing more beautiful than a feature that kept your entire bloodline alive for millennia. There is nothing more powerful than looking in the mirror and seeing 20,000 years of strength. That is what monolith eyes represent, and that is what you carry forward into the future now. The conversation about beauty standards is changing, and it is changing for the better finally. More people than ever understand that beauty is not one single narrow standard for everyone. Beauty is diversity, and diversity is the result of incredible evolutionary journeys across the planet. Every eye shape tells a different story of survival and adaptation to unique conditions somewhere. Double eyelids tell a story and monolids tell a story, and both stories are equally remarkable. Neither is better or worse, and neither is more or less beautiful than the other one, honestly. They are simply different chapters in the same incredible book of human evolution and diversity. What matters is understanding the story behind your own features and feeling proud of them always. What matters is knowing that you are the product of thousands of years of successful survival efforts. What matters is recognizing that every part of you was designed by nature for a specific important purpose. Your eyes are not just organs that allow you to see the world around you every single day. They are historical documents written in flesh and fat and muscle and genetic code together beautifully. They connect you to ancestors you will never meet but who gave everything so you could exist here. They are proof that your bloodline is strong and resilient and capable of overcoming anything at all. That is the true story of the monolid eye, and it is one worth knowing and sharing with others. Science gave us this understanding, and we should use it to build pride, not insecurity, in ourselves. We should use it to celebrate the incredible diversity of the human species across every continent now. We should look at each other and see not differences to judge but stories of survival to admire deeply. Every face and every crowd carries thousands of years of evolutionary wisdom in its unique features present. The monolid is just one example, but it is perhaps the most dramatic and well-documented example available. It takes us back 20,000 years to the frozen plains of ancient Siberia in our imagination vividly. It shows us humans at their most determined and most adaptive and most incredible state of being fully. And it reminds us that we are all descended from survivors who refused to let the earth defeat them ever. That legacy lives on in every single person who carries these beautiful, resilient eyes on their face today. It is a legacy worth celebrating and a legacy worth understanding at the deepest possible scientific level. So carry that knowledge with you and let it change how you see yourself in the mirror from now forward. You are not just a person living an ordinary life in the modern world we inhabit right now together. You are the latest chapter in an epic saga of human survival that spans 20,000 years of history. Your eyes prove it, and science confirms it, and nothing can ever take that truth away from you at all.